Dan Karcher back here on Sky Sox Warmup from Security Service Field. And our guest this evening is Sky Sox right-hander Tim Dillard. And we'll hear from Harry Carey and Tim Kirkshin a little bit later. But first, Tim, let's talk about some baseball before we get to that. Some serious business. How was the off day yesterday?
Oh, it was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. It was just a chance to look around and see the mountain. There was no clouds. A lot of guys decided they were going to go hiking and fishing and stuff like that, but I think I slept till around 4:30 in the afternoon, so it was a great day.
Beautiful day, believe me, especially when you look at the upcoming itinerary with the wake-up calls we have coming. Anyway, what do you think of your new digs here in Colorado Springs?
It's awesome. I mean, you come out here and every day is just, it's a new challenge in baseball anyway, and you come out here and you get to play at this park that I've played at some, but not for an extended period of time. It's great. It's great. Everyone's, you get to get the feel of, the outfield. You get the feel of the mound, and you just have that advantage. The team coming in, they've only played on it a few times, so that's advantage, man. We know what we're doing.
Well, speaking of challenges, you guys have one here as far as pitchers go, pitching in the altitude. Now, you've done it as a visiting pitcher and whatnot, but, I mean, so far, what do you think?
As a visiting pitcher, I hated it. But now, this is what we pitch in. We're used to it. We work out here every day. These guys just came from, wherever their last game was. And, for them, it's a challenge. For us, we've overcame it in the first, couple days we were here. So it's about making your pitches wherever you are. And here, you just, same thing. Just make your pitches.
Sounds simple.
It is that simple.
We'll get into that a little bit later, maybe. Tim Dillard, my guest, Sky Sox right-hander here on Sky Sox Warmup. You began the last two seasons pitching in the independent leagues there at Lancaster before signing back with the Brewers. Decided to forego that routine this year and decided to, I guess the Brewers decided to sign you right away. But what was it like pitching in the independent leagues?
I'd always heard about it, and I thought, man, I hope I never do it. I hope that's not something I have to do. And I'm sure everyone that's there maybe have said that at one point. But what I was surprised with was how competitive it is. Because I was looking around the clubhouse every year, and I'm like, half these guys play in the big leagues. And and they love baseball, and they want to play. There's no egos there. Everybody's just loving playing baseball. And it's actually a very pure a pure way to play. I had a great time. I was happy to leave, but I'm very happy leagues like that exist, because there's a lot of good talent there that's not done playing, and they shouldn't be.
Yeah. You were Tim, a 15th round pick by the Brewers in 2001, but decided to go to school. I'm going to let you pronounce the name of the school you attended.
Itawamba Community College.
Itawamba Community College. Thank you for that. So you went to school before signing with the Brewers, and then the next year you signed with Milwaukee as a 34th round pick. Take us through the process of deciding to not to sign in 2001 but signing in 2002.
Well, in 2001, I'd actually hurt my shoulder in high school. My left shoulder swinging. I used to swing like really, really big. And, I didn't know what it was going to be like. So when I found out I was going to, I got drafted in the 15th round. I was actually at a friend's house that had a computer. They had internet. And so it was it was dial-up. So I was on about the third round. And someone had called the house and said, hey, you got a call from the Brewers. They said you've been drafted in the 15th round. So I was, like I said, dial-up on the third round. So, I wasn't physically ready to go, And so I signed and went to community college. And I actually didn't play that much, ended up having surgery, and it wasn't until my second year in 2003 that I actually started doing well. I was catching, and I was hitting, and I was doing a little bit of pitching. And when it came down to it, and the Brewers didn't want me to go back into the next draft, they said, hey, we want you to pitch. And so I was like, you want me to give up catching, something I've been doing my whole life? And they were like, yep. And I was like, okay. If you'll give me a job pitching, that's what I'll take. And I've been doing it ever since.
So apparently they knew what they were talking about. Where did the sidearm delivery start for you?
Spring training 2010. I came in and they said, man, you're a guy that needs to reinvent himself. You need two big league pitches to pitch in the big leagues, and you have a great fastball. You need something else, and that's something I'd struggled with my entire career. Got me down sidearm, just of like a last, hurrah type thing, I think. And they didn't give up on me. They put me in AAA Nashville for the whole season, and about the last month of the year, I was starting, and that's really when I started coming into my own with my craft. And they liked it enough where they signed me back and put me in spring training 2011. Ron Renicky took over, and he was like, "You've only been doing this a year?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, it's impressive." And about a month after spring training, I got called up.
What was the most difficult thing in making that transition?
I mean, it was probably throwing strikes. I set the PCL record for most hit batters in a season, and I did that mostly out of the bullpen, so that's kind of hard to do. But it was a tough year, but it was almost like you're relearning baseball again, how to pitch guys, what to do, what not to do. And what I really found, it was really tough on the umpires, because a lot of times when my first year, I was throwing like low 90s, which, I don't really do that anymore. But, it was really hard for umpires to stay with it because it was moving all over the place and everything. And I'm kind of long and gangly, so my arms and legs are flying everywhere, and these umpires are trying to get an idea. But nowadays, when I get out there and throw, umpires get behind the catcher because they want to see what they're working with out there.
Well, speaking of reinventing yourself, how about this switch pitcher with the A's organization, Pat Venditti? This is incredible stuff. What are your thoughts on what you saw from him?
Well, I mean, it's just impressive that he can throw strikes both ways. In 2013, I tried to, with lefties, go over the top. So I would throw sidearm to righties and then a few pitches to a lefties, and then I would come back over the top. And that was hard to do. It was hard for me to throw strikes going over the top because you're talking about different mechanics, different release points. And now this guy's doing it with different arms. I mean, that's impressive. Even if, he's out there and just everything he throws is right around the zone. Like, I was watching him really close because that's something I'd struggle with, was locating and things like that. And he's throwing it everything around the plate. That in itself is impressive.
Tim Dillard, my guest, Sky Sox right-hander here on Sky Sox Warmup from Security Service Field. Take us back to your major league debut with the Brewers back in 2008. What do you remember about that experience?
Not much. No, it was, I got a call early that morning. We were supposed to go to Memphis, and our manager said, hey, you're not going to Memphis. You're going to go to Washington, D.C. and meet the big league club. And I was like, okay. And my wife was sleeping. It was about 6 a.m. I was like, honey, I got called up to the big leagues. And she's like, that's nice. I was like, wake up. So we were at the airport early, and we flew out to D.C., and this was Memorial Day weekend, and they had a brand new stadium. It was $1 billion stadium. And I was trying to do the right thing when you get called up, wear a suit, and it was about 99 degrees there. And I took a taxi straight from the airport to the field. They dropped me off on the wrong part of the field. So here I am running around in a suit and a big baseball bag, looking for the locker room. I'm sweating through it. By the time I get to the clubhouse, they're like, hey, batting practice is already going on. So I change. I run out there just in time to play catch. Batting practice is over. I run in. I have enough time to change into my game stuff, run out there on the field, and about the 6th inning, they called down, and they were like, get Dillard going. And I was like, I haven't breathed today. But my one goal was to, go out there and act like I've done it before. Just not be wide-eyed, but just, hey, it's all business. Go out there and make it look like I've done it before. And probably the best compliment I got was after the game, Jason Kendall, who had been around forever, a guy that I collected his cards when I was a catcher growing up, came up to me and said, man, you went out there and you pitched like you had done that before. And so, I mean, that's probably the biggest thing I remember was just, having a guy that's been proven and been around, a veteran like that, shaking my hand and telling me I did a good job.
That is part one of my conversation with Sky Sox right-hander Tim Dillard. We'll have part two a little bit later. In the meantime, Matt Pauley is back to wrap up this edition of Sky Sox Warm-Up when we continue from Security Service Field in just a moment.